If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with Top Sport's Same Game Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Gamble responsibly.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another edition of the Same Game Multi Podcast, NRL Season Preview Part 2. If you didn't catch our Part 1, I'll link it up in the cards now, and you can check that out as well, where we went over the first 4 teams of the competition, so make sure you check that out. As I welcome in the boys, Mr. Matthew Mark Cherry, how are you, mate?
Sensational, boys. Just in the middle of chewing some of Hackett's beef jerky. One of the regular listeners sent us in a little sample of his homemade jerky.
Not bad, is it?
Pretty good.
It's not bad. Me jaws will end up growing a set of biceps by the end of the week. It's good. It's good.
Bit of lockjaw. And J-Rod, Jared, Burt, how are you, mate?
Marvellous. Good to be here.
Good
to have football back, boys.
Mm-hmm. How good was it? Speaking of the All-Stars game on the weekend, I'll tell you what, the weather was pretty poor, but the game was pretty good.
Yeah, well, I was actually one of the boys I play round ball with, H. Hawani. He and his family and himself, they all went down to Bankwest, and they said Bankwest it's such a good stadium. He said they were sitting probably about 3 rows back from the fence, and they said they barely even got wet. They took ponchos and everything with them. So it must be the way that the stadium tears up rather than tears away, if that makes sense. So yeah. They were fairly well undercover. So, but mate, yeah, it was absolutely bucketed down.
Very good. Just want to make a little notation on last week's episode. If you did watch the show, you would have seen the graphics pop up on screen. I had the Sharks on my graphic. I had them predicted as 12th finish on the ladder. That was actually a mistake. It was meant to be 7th. So just a little correction there for me, boys. I think I was too many CC and dries in when I was doing the editing that night.
Easy to do, isn't it?
How do you know?
Yeah, I don't drink.
Yeah, don't drink, don't edit. All good, boys. As I said, part 2 of our NRL 2022 season preview. Today we're going to look over the next 4 teams, that being Gold Coast Titans, Manly, Melbourne, and Newcastle Knights, boys. So is there anything else you want to say about the All-Stars game, your highlight of the week before we jump right in? We've got a fair bit to cover off.
Actually noticed Pat Herbert can actually pass the ball.
Yeah.
He actually had a pretty good game.
And can put a couple of good shots on too.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. There were some punches thrown. Mm-hmm. Realistically, apart
Superman punch from the Fox.
Yeah, apart from a sex scene, that's probably up there with one of the best movies I've ever seen. So no, it was good to have football back, but sitting back here with a couple of loudmouth soups, just enjoying it was good, and it's good to have it back too. So
yeah, it was good. Nice little preview of what the season will bring, I think. So considering the conditions, it was all in all an all right game.
Yeah. What do you boys think of the Rapana charges, so to speak? He only got 2 weeks, but was that second one? So obviously he did shoulder charge. That second one, do you think he made contact?
No, we said that here on the night, didn't we?
Yeah,
I don't think he made contact
nowhere near as bad as how it first looked when they went back with the replay and slowed it right down on that other angle coming from the try line. You can notice straight away he gets taken out by the tackle before he gets shoulder charged.
Absolutely, yeah. He's literally already gone, and Rapana just helps him on his way.
Yeah. What I liked about Rapana while we're on him is clapping Andrew for feet off. When he got sent in the 10 minutes in the bin, and then he had to make the walk as well, so that was a bit funny.
Actually seen this good meme someone made. That was on Sunday morning, so they probably would have made it straight after the game. Had a picture of him there doing the big see you later for feeder, and it says on the screen, when your mate gets kicked out by the bouncers, and then 2 years later you get the tap on the shoulder from the security. So
true.
Stick that up, your Rapana.
All right, boys, let's jump right into our preview of the other 4 teams we're going to look at today. First up, we've got Gold Coast Titans. Now, boys, these guys finished 8th last year, just managed to squeak into the top 8, and they had 10 wins and 14 losses last year. Now, I'll put the prices up on the screen as we speak, and you can see there, Premiership, $26, minor Premierships, $21. To make the top 4, we're paying $6. Top 8's $2, and least amount of wins is $34. Those odds are thanks to Top Sport, as always, who are, by the way, the official wagering partner of the Gold Coast Titans. So congratulations to Tristan and the team there as well. How do we see 2022 playing out for the Titans, boys? Can we see them improving on last year's 8th? Are they going to drop back down a little bit? We'll go through all the gains and losses in a minute, but just get your initial thoughts.
Well, I've got them ranked a little bit lower this year, mainly because of other teams surpassing them. Not saying so much they're going to have a worse season. I think there's going to be a couple of teams that'll just be better than them throughout the year. Can't see them making the 8 myself. I think they're going to be a little bit shy.
Well, I've got them right on 8th. They're one side, when I did a bit of homework and crunched some numbers and whatever else, they were one side that I sort of found that didn't do much recruiting. And where they did, was it really necessary? I think basically their biggest inclusion all year was Will Smith from Parramatta. He's quite a handy utility, but then again, how much are they going to use him?
Yeah. I've only got the other person I've got highlighted is Isaac Liu from the Roosters. He was the only sort of significant name there on the signings. You look at the losses though: Jamal Fogarty, Tyrone Peachy, to name a few, Mitch Rain, a few other ones there as well. But they're probably so they didn't lose a lot. I think Fogarty's a bit of a loss for him. He was quite good there. I thought.
I think he'll go good at the Raiders.
Good pick up for the Raiders.
I think simply because he doesn't have that price tag. Doesn't have that big expectation, and I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but he's not trying to carry Ash Taylor, who I thought last year was absolutely was horrendous.
Yeah. Good thing for Fogarty as well, being at the Raiders, he doesn't have to get away from Papali'i anymore and get chased down by him. So you'll never live that down.
Exactly right.
You boys, you said what position, sorry, Ches?
Mate, I've got them coming at 10th.
10th. I've got them 9th. You've got them 8th.
I've got them 8th, yeah.
Let's run through our top 17 for each of us. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll jump in first. All right, number 1, Jaden Campbell. On the wings, Corey Thompson and Phil Sami. In the centres, Paddy Herbert and Brian Kelly. AJ Brimson at number 6. Toby Sexton at 7. The former Rooster, Isaac Liu at 8. Aaron Clark in at 9. Moaki Fotuaki. I'm glad I didn't spell that properly. He's at number 10. Fodawaker, mate. Yeah, I know. Fodawaker. Number 11, the proctologist, Kevin Proctor. Number 12, Fafita and Tino at lock at 13. On the bench, I've put Tanner Boyd, Jared Wallace, Sam Lasoni and Jermaine Jolliffe.
Mate, that lineup is very similar to mine. I'll jump in there before you, but just because you're 1 through to 13 is exactly the same as mine. The only place we differ is on the bench. I've got Will Smith there at number 14, Beau Fermor, and I've got Wallace and Jolliffe as well. So there's only the 2 players different there. But I think looking through, I worry about their halves. AJ moving into the 5'8" position, apparently played a lot there during schoolboys and stuff, but NRL's obviously different. Toby Sexton, he only played a handful of games last year, looked all right, but how's he going to, cope in a full season? And the depth is what I'm worried about too. Is if an injury, a few of these key players go down, what's coming through? Where I think they might struggle a bit, so that's why I've got them just missing out on the top 8.
Apart from Will Smith, there's no guns on the bench, is there? They don't have any real.
Wallace played good last year. He's getting a bit long in the tooth, but he was playing a fair bit of good footy last year. Jermaine Jolliffe, he's a good front rower coming through as well. But there's just no real X factor.
Yeah,
I think
Jaden Campbell was good last year.
Is that the reason why they played Fafita off the bench last year, for that little bit extra sting?
Possibly.
Because realistically,
and his fitness was a bit.
His fitness was obviously down, but that's one thing that I did sort of see last year was because they needed that impact off the bench. And it's funny, you don't realise how much that 20-minute mark actually creates a fatigue. And if you get someone the size of Fafita, even though he runs out on the wing, there's someone the size of Fafita in around fatigued players. Because for a big boy, he's quick and he's sharp. He's also got good ball carrying skills and offloads, etc. When you get him into a tired pack, or just when they're about to make their changes, you sting Fafita off the bench into him, mate, he'll blow him to pieces. And he did towards the end of last year off the bench.
Yeah, he was devastating. What's your 1 through to 17, mate?
Mate, I've gone AJ Brimson at fullback. I'm going to keep him there. He's made himself there, so for me, I'd keep him there. Philip Sami in it on the wing. Patrick Herbert, Brian Kelly at 3 and 4. Corey Thompson at 5. Now, I've got Will Smith at 6, just as a little bit of a utility. Haven't said that too. Will Smith can play a bit of 9. So I've got Aaron Clark in there at 9. So if there does seem to be a little bit of tire, Will Smith can then slip into 9. And I've got Jaden Campbell on the bench. He'll slot into 6 for a bit of a running back. So Toby Sexton at 7, Forder Waker at 8, young Clark at 9, as I just said then, Isaac Liu in at 10. I've got Sam McIntyre. He's a young front rower coming through. I've seen a fair bit of him playing a bit of reserve grade last year. I've seen a few of his highlights. I've got Fafita and Tino Fasua Alamalawi at 13. Jaden Campbell. I've got Kevin Proctor on the bench. I'm just sick and fucking tired of it, of his efforts. Wallace and young Jolliffe there, he comes in at 17. So
No, Isaac Lou.
yeah, Isaac Liu's in. He's at
number
starting
10
front
there.
rower.
Sorry, I missed
got
that.
him starting.
Boys, Big Tino's been announced as the captain. What do you make of that? I think it's a great announcement.
Absolutely. I think that'll give him, he's already an absolute machine, and I think this will just give him that little bit extra, the tail feathers will be up, he'll be roaring.
Remember, last year you were saying that he didn't really perform to his potential, not because of his choice. I think this might bring that right out of him this year.
They had him playing a lot at number 10 last year, which I don't like. I like him at lock, a bit like Finucane last week. I mentioned with the Sharks, I like him being on there the whole time. Similar with Tino, so I think he'll shine at number 13.
Yep,
Hopefully
absolutely.
that's where they play him.
Get a bit of ball in the hand too. You never know what he might create. Worst case scenario, playing back in the middle.
Yeah, yep. All right, boys, we've got a bit of time. Let's jump right into the Manly Warringah Seagulls now. So last year, these guys finished 4th on the ladder. That terrific run with Turbo there at the back end of the season. They had 16 wins and 8 losses.
I'd like to see the stats on that, on how many of those losses come in the second half of the season, because there wouldn't be many.
Well, they lost like 4 straight at the start of the
Yeah,
season.
that's
without
what I
him,
mean.
So they only then lost another 4 games for the rest of the 21 games.
Yep.
So
Correct me if
and
I'm
they're
wrong.
probably around the Origin period as well when they had all their players out. So
Correct me if I'm wrong. Were they somewhere within the top side of the market to run last year?
well, they were calling for Desi's head. They wanted him fired.
So this is how bad they were at the start of the season from memory. I have a funny feeling they were almost favourites to get the spoon.
Yeah, after the
At
first
one-
after the first month,
Yeah.
they would have been. They were off to a terrible start. So they did really well towards the back end, as I mentioned, finished 4th. Prices on screen as we speak, thanks to Top Sport Premiership, boys, $8. Minor Premiers also $8. If you like them for the top 4, we'll give you $1.80. $1.18 for the top 8, and least amount of wins is $67. So they're not tipped for the wooden spoon at all. So
Save your money there.
we'll go through the gains and losses. Not many gains, similar to the Titans, not many games. Ethan Bullimore is really the only significant gain that they've made there. They've lost a few players, Cade Cust and also Moses Sully. They're probably the 2 most significant players there. Tavita Funa, he had a bit of a run every now and then, but no one. Oh, Curtis Sirenen as well. He's gone over to St Helens over the Super League. So they haven't lost a lot, but they haven't gained that many either. Their team 1 through the 13 is pretty much the same as what it would have been round 25 last year for me. You want to kick us off again, Ches?
Yeah, mate, I will. Got a quick message there from Uncle Nick down at Bondi.
Got a little inside news.
Now, I didn't know that Bullimore was out. The list that I got the other day didn't have him on there.
Ethan Bullimore.
Yeah.
He's in.
But down, sorry,
What do you mean he's out?
you say he was a loss.
No, he's a gain. He's come from the Broncos. He's come from the
I was
Broncos.
thinking that makes no sense because I had him in.
He's a gain, sorry.
That's right, mate. I've got a bit of a scrambled head today. Mate, I'll kick us off. This team's pretty easy to pick, I reckon. They're very straightforward. Number 1, Turbo. Then Saab and Garrick on the wings. Parker-Harper combination in the halves. The usual combination of Foran and DCE. Daly Cherry Evans in there at the 6 and 7. Paseka at the 8. And then Lockie Corner there at number 9.
Lucky Croker.
Yeah, that's him.
Can't read your writing.
That's it. Like hieroglyphics, mate.
Like a finger painting.
Tafau at 10. Olakuatu at 11.
Yeah.
Bellamore at 12. And then Jake Turbo at 13. Bench side, number 14, Dylan Walker. Sean Kepi. Tafofa Sipley. And Carl Lawton bringing up at 17.
When you sent through your team list, mate, I was a little bit surprised there's one person I saw wasn't there. And we just note this is what we think their best 17 might not be their starting 17 for round 1, given suspensions and injuries and stuff like that. This is what we think their best 17 are. I'll run through mine. I'll let you know the name. Mine's the same as yours is 1 through to 11. So Turbo, Garrick, Parker, Harper, Saab, Foran, DCE, Tapau, Croker, Paseka, Olakalatu. Josh Schuster. You missed him.
I did.
Yeah, bit of an admission there. I think he was playing really good down that left side. Does that, they got really soft hands where he goes out to the 5/8 or the centre out there on the left hand side. Jakey Javojevic, Dylan Walker, number 14, he was pretty good last year and had a pretty good game in the All-Stars as well. The old mayonnaise man, Josh Aloy, Sean Kepi, and Ethan Bullimore on the bench.
Yeah, well, it's one of those sides, as you said, Ches. Realistically, they pick themselves pretty much, as you said, 1 through to 10, 1 through to 13 even.
Yep.
I got Turbo at 1, obviously. I got the Saab and the Garrick on the wing. I got Parker, the Hank Scorpio, and the pool cleaner, Morgan Harper, who I thought was excellent on the weekend.
Did you see the little thing about him brushing his teeth pre-game?
Who mentioned that? Someone said they'd never seen anything like it before.
Yeah.
Apparently,
One of the players.
the supplements, he can't stand the taste of the supplements.
Yeah, right.
So
Peptides?
That's what will happen. Yeah.
Hey,
Like he's not at the Sharks.
I was going to say, Gallen's not there. I shouldn't say that on a four. I'll be sacked soon. 4 and Cherry Evans are the halves. Paseka is 8. Martin Tapau will be at 10. In between those two, I'll have Lockie Croker. Ola Kawatu at 11, Joshy Schuster. In the eyes of some critics, for example, Matty Johns, he all but says that he is easily in the top 3 best players at Manly at the moment, Josh Schuster. And Jakey Trebojevic in at 13, Dylan Walker, Carl Lawton, Ethan Bullimore, and Sean Kepi is my 17.
Very much similar team across the board there for all of us, boys. I got him finishing 4th. I don't know if we mentioned that. What about yourself?
4th too, mate.
4th.
Yeah, 4th, yeah.
4th. So top 4 there, you get $1.80. So get on, nearly double your money there. So it's not too bad for the Sea Eagles. I think the fact that we can pretty much say it's the same team from last year is only going to benefit them. You're going to have that consistency and that team bond from last year carrying over. So not a lot of changes, as I mentioned, which is a good thing. I think.
Absolutely. That'll create chemistry.
Yeah.
I think, especially if everyone stays fit for the start of the season, unlike last year. But I think the only thing stopping them from finishing higher is the quality of the other 3 teams that I have picked. I think that's the only thing stopping them.
Yep. And I think there's a bit of a market out as to whether Turbo's going to have another race up the Corso. I think Tristan's framed a market for that. He's about 101.
I was going to say,
there's a couple of different markets too. Is it before or after 6 vodka cruises? I think it was.
Very good. All right, we might take a quick little break. We'll be back to have a look at the other 2 teams after this. Stick around.
Another half win. From punters jumping in early or waiting too late. You get a good price on one leg, but the others have shortened dramatically. You still win, but it feels like you half win. Introducing Top Sport's Best of the Best Multi. Get top odds on every leg, every time. Don't be one of these. Just bet and forget Bob Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, we are back. Thank you for sticking around. We'll mention now off the top as well, our NRL footy tipping comp is now open for SGM club members. It's on the screen as we speak. Over $1,000 worth of cash and prizes up for grabs. Completely free to join for our SGM club members, so make sure you do head on over to our website, register and become a member. We'll then send you all the details as far as to how to join the comp, and completely free, and we're just giving money away on this show, boys.
That's what we do the best. Hand it out.
Someone's got to do it. We can't win it ourselves.
So, make sure you check that out because I think it'll be a really good comp this year. We've got knockout comp running through as well. There'll be monthly giveaways. It's a fantastic comp, so make sure you get on board. All right, boys, let's switch our attention to the Melbourne Storm. Last year, they finished first at the end of the regular season. Missed out, obviously, in the grand final there. They had 21 wins and 3 losses, which is not a bad record. There's some extraordinary stat where they haven't lost their first game of the season under Craig Bellamy in 21 years or something. Does that ring a bell to someone?
Yeah, 20,
crazy.
21, 23, something like that. They did mention it this morning on the Big Sports Breakfast. And then they made a note of things that weren't around when they 23 years ago. Mate, it was everything. iPhones, Facebook, Twitter, the works, YouTube, the works. Fucking massive line.
Yeah, right. Same game multi podcast. Prices are on screen at the moment, boys. Premiership $5, just about the favourite there. Minor premiers $4.60. Top $4 $1.60. Top 8 $1.10. And least amount of wins 201. So if you think they're going to have a shocker, get on that if you do like that.
I think top four's $1.60. That's some easy money if you want to have a large bet, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We'll go through the gains and losses now, boys. Gains we'll do first, and a couple notable ones there. Xavier Coates, from the Broncos. The only other real big name that I can see there, and he's not even a big name to be honest, Nick Meaney from the Bulldogs, bit of a handy pickup there. They got Jaden Nikorima, which is obviously Cody's younger brother. But their losses, that's where I've got it highlighted. It's striking me in the face. We've got the Fox, Addo Carr, Dale Finucane, Nico Hines, Brenko Lee, and a host of other ones there as well that, aren't the big names like those first 3 or 4. So how do you see this season playing out for them? Do you think they can repeat the minor premiership of last year, or do you see them slipping a little bit?
Yeah, I've got them at 1. I reckon they'll be minor premiers. It's one of those sort of cases where I've said it almost my entire life. The Craig Bellamy takes nobodies and turns them into somebodies. And in this case, for example, what they have lost in talent, they've almost replaced with the equivalent of. So, for example, in this case, I've got Tapai Moroa, who he come fresh back from a stint in Ra. He actually played really well towards the back end of last season once he got his fitness, because you'd be surprised how much different the body has to be from Ra. Obviously, rugby, the difference between rugby and league actually is. And so, too, that's why Valentine Holmes, for example, he struggled because his body had completely changed from league to NFL, then he had to come back sort of thing. So I've got him at 1. I think they'll do really well this year. And I'd near say they go very close to winning the comp again. Also remembering too that those who are leaving, for example, Brandon Smith, etc., this could be one last hurrah. So
yeah, got a host of players leaving at the end of this season. Smith,
Bromwich boys, Felice
Kafusi. There's quite a few departing at the end of this season. So yeah, like you said, it might be one of those motivating factors to try and do it all together before they do go their separate ways, mate. While you're chatting, run us through your 1 through 17, mate.
Well, I'll go with the Pap at 1. Absolutely no one else. George Jennings at 2. Xavier Coates at 5. Remus Smith and Justice Olam in the centres. They pick themselves, as I've said before. Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes. Love that partnership in the halves. Up front, I've got Jesse Bromwich and I've got Christian Welsh in there as well. Brandon Smith, I'm going to start him. There's a controversial, a lot of people will disagree, a lot of people agree. Felice Kafusi at 11. Tapai Moroa, I'm going to start him at 12. He'll be a lot fitter this year than what he was towards the back end of last year. Kenny Bromwich on the bench. I'm going to have Harry Grant at 14. Now, I'll be injecting him. That's not necessarily how it's going to be all year, but if I was Craig Bellamy, I'd be stinging him in there around that 15-minute mark or thereabouts. So.
Just what would you be injecting him with, mate?
Mate, I'm not going to say it. You're an idiot.
Keep going.
Josh King, Nelson Asafa Solomona, and I've got Tom Eisenhuth, he'll be my number 17.
Yeah, right. A little bit different for myself. 1 through to 10 is pretty much the same. Paps, Coates, Smith, Olam, Jennings. I'd have Coates, he plays, I think I'll have him outside Olam to try and replicate that Fox Olam combination that they had last year. It was devastating. A lot of high balls going up, flicking back to Olam. I think I can see him getting across for quite a few tries there. George Jennings, not sure if I mentioned him. Munster Hughes, Jesse Bromwich, Brendan Smith starting for me as well. I really like the way they used him at the back end of last year. Started him, Grant on the bench, swapped him out. Smith went to the running forward. Love that. Christian Welch, probably one of, if not the best front row in the game at the moment, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I've got Kenneth Bromwich there at number 11, Felice Kafusi at number 12, and Nelson Asafa Solomona at number 13. On the bench, Harry Grant, inject him about the 20-minute mark, about the 6-inch mark. And Tom Eisenhuth, got Kama Kamisha, and I got Moroa in there as well, wearing number 17. I'll give him a little hit out for the first month, 5-6 weeks of the season, see how he goes. And, otherwise there's a few other players there that could have made it in on that 17 that was hotly contested.
Absolutely.
And I've got them finishing 3rd. I think they're going to drop a few spots.
Yeah, rightio. Fair enough. I've got them running 2nd. I think that's only because I think the Pennies are going to be pretty strong again and they're very close to going back-to-backs. We'll have a few months to discover that. Now I've got Pappenhauser at fullback. There's no one else in my eyes who can play that position out of that side. Coates on the wing there, then Justice and Remus Smith, speaks for itself. Now Nick Meaney on the other wing, I'm going to nickname him this year the White Fox. I think they're going to try and use him to replace Addo Carr. I don't think he can match the the quality that Fox had, but he was scoring a fair few tries last year, especially for the club he was with. So Munster and Hughes combination, I'm going to throw that out the door and put the Bromwich brothers in the halves. no, Munster and Hughes in the halves. Jesse Bromwich a prop with Christian Welch, like you said, absolute weapon.
Yep.
Number 9. Now, this is a personal thing. I'm going to start Harry Grant. When I get the
it's one of those.
I'll tell you why.
There's always arguments for and against.
And then Kafusi and Kenny Bromwich there. Big Solomona running them at lock.
Nelson.
Now 14, I'd have the cheese. That's a little strategy so he doesn't have too much game time. Doesn't get injured for next year, especially towards the end of the year. so he's fit for the Roosters.
Typical Roosters.
Nice to
Always
meet
looking out for themselves.
Nice to meet you. Kamikamecha at 15. Dobby Eisenhuth and Chris Lewis there at 17.
Yeah, Lewis is one of those ones that nearly took up the 17 for me. You know what it won't be? It won't be a problem next year as the Who starting number 9 because Smith won't be there.
That's exactly right. Now, the only other person I didn't put in was George Jennings. Sort of floated around. I just wanted to put Nick Meaney in there because...
The White Fox.
Yeah, the White Fox.
And so, recap first, second, third for myself. All in all, I think they'll have a pretty similar season to last year. Very solid side, 1 through to 17, and you can mix any host number of players in and out there on your bench and still have a fairly solid team. Considering the players that they did lose, as I mentioned, the Addo Carr, Finucane, Hines, Brenko Lee, I know he was injured for most of last year, but there's some quality players there that they did lose. But you look at the side, if you didn't know about the losses, you wouldn't even think anything of it. You just look at the 1 through to 17, just looks like a solid squad.
Just about to say, that's like because they were so strong last year for that reason. Someone was off, there was someone there right behind him that was just as good.
And not that I rate him anywhere near as good as Fox, but Xavier Coates is a pretty good replacement to come in for the Fox.
It'll be interesting.
For me, he's got a lot of development in his game. But Craig Bellamy will bring that out in.
I was just going to say that it'd be interesting to see just how much of a different or a better player he is, A, with better players around him, and B, the coaching stuff. Not taking anything away from Brisbane or Kevy Walters at all, but, mate, like I said before, there's something about the bellyache. He takes nobodies and turns them into somebody. So it'll be good to see how much he develops. And not only that playing group in general. They always just seem to have that good chemistry and that good mixture, so it'd be good to see how he goes.
Yeah. They will lose a host of players during the origin period, though, so that's always a bit of a sore point for him, so hopefully they can limp through on that one. Very good, boys. Let's wrap that one up and we'll move along to the next team now, the Newcastle Knights, the boys down there at the Hunter. Last year they finished 7th, 12 win, 12 losses, so 50%. Pardon me, 50% there either way. I think they're going to really struggle this year, boys, and I'll tell you why in a minute, and my ladder prediction says that as well. But they've gained a few, but lost more than they've gained, and that's always an issue, I think, when you're doing recruitment. No real big gains. The only one I can see there that I've highlighted, boys, Dane Gagai. He's really the only notable name there that they've gained. But you look at the losses, Mitchell Pearce, Connor Watson, and the one that's probably the biggest, again, he isn't a signing somewhere else, he's an injury, and that's Jaden Brayley, their hooker and captain. Done his Achilles, out for about 4 to 6 months. I think by the time he comes back, boys, I think their season will be gone, and I'm predicting them to drop about 6 places and come 13th. I think they're going to be the one team that plummets this year.
Well, very, very similar feelings to you. I think if you went on the Google Maps and searched Newcastle Knights, you'll find them directly on Struggle Street this year. They are going to cop an absolute hammering, I think. Yeah, well, I've actually got them running at 13th myself as well.
Yeah. Put the prices up just before we hop into our team list, boys. Premiership $23, minor premierships $34. Top 4, $8. Top 8, this actually quite surprised me. So if you do like it, get on, because I don't think they will make it. But $2.40 for the top 8, thanks to Top Sport. And least amount of wins, $10. I don't mind that bet. Out of all them, that's the one bet I like the most, to be honest. And that's indicative of how I think their season will go. I've got nothing against Newcastle. I quite like them, everything like that. I just feel that they've lost some key players in some key positions, and I don't see the depth to cover those losses or the recruitment.
Looking here, I've got them at 13th. Having said that, I've got Arrows drawing up for some reason. Dragons are dropping from 11th to 13th, and they're going up. I was just trying to brainstorm why. The only reason why I can see him jumping a couple of spots is because Andrew Johns is back and their coaching staff. They've got a really, really solid set of assistants there. Whether that's an improvement or anything like that, Johnsy, Danny Badiris, and the boys are all sort of, what would you say, teaming up
getting around them,
which is really good to see. Having said that, no, my biggest thing, I think Pearce is their biggest loss. You could see even last year, particularly when he was injured, how much they relied on Kalen Ponga to create. And when realistically, apart from the Saifidi boys punching the ball forward, realistically, when I look back through their roster, and I even look through their roster this year, Tyson Frizzell struggled, for example, etc. Whereas he's generally handy for a couple of offloads. I can't see too much creativity. And I'll tell you one thing, if it wasn't for his price tag, I'd near have Dane Gagai not even playing. He'd be near playing reserve grade. When you pay the price you've paid for him, you almost got to play him.
Have to play him. Big losses, Pearce, Watson, and as I said, Brayley. There's some good quality players there that they've lost. Obviously, Mitch Pearce was at the back end of his career, and love him or hate him, he's still a quality halfback in the NRL. I don't know why they let him go. I thought they must have had a plan in place. The talk was Luke Brooks. That never eventuated, but even if it did, I thought that would have been a bit of a backstep for the Knights, to be
100%.
honest. Run us through your 1 through to 17, mate.
Well, I've got Kalen Ponga at 1, obviously. Talala, whatever the fuck you say it. Tawala at 2. Dane Gagai at 3. As I said, the only reason is because of his price tag. Bradman Best at 4. Hymel Hunt plays 5. Jakey Clifford in there at 6. Adam Clune. Now, he's only going to make 1 appearance, whereas I had him twice in the other one.
Sent the team list through to me. Had him running on his halfback end on the bench. So
I did.
Does he get paid twice?
No,
tax twice.
Yeah, I was going to say pay double tax. So
be good for your super coach.
Yeah. Jacob Saifidi at 8. Chris Randall at 9. Daniel Saifidi's at 10. Frizzell Fitzgibbon are the second rows. Mitchy Barnett will lock my scrum. 13 will be Kurt Mann, David Clemmer, and Sue at 17, and 16 was
Brodie Jones sent through.
So I think they will struggle without Pearce direction-wise.
Yeah. You mentioned Frizzell. He did struggle last year, and I think that he didn't have that quality playmaker inside him. I know Pearce played a lot on the left-hand side. He was left with Jakey Clifford there on the right-hand side, and they just didn't have. And that was only halfway through the season. He had Kurt Mann, Tex Hoy, a few others there as well during the start of the season. So he just didn't get to build any combinations. He's still not starting. He'd be my first pick in one of my Origin sides, but yeah, he just did struggle last year. So big shout out there, mate. Your team is is actually identical to mine, so I won't run through it again. The only thought that I had was I really worry about their halves again. Clifford hasn't had many games. Clune's had probably half as many again. I toyed with the idea of moving Ponga to 6 and bringing in Tex Hoy to the fullback, but I didn't end up going that. I think Ponga at 1's your best bet, but they just need to give him the ball. Get the ball in his hands as much as you can.
Get it to him early.
Yeah, early, but that then obviously going to bring a big target to him. Teams are going to read that and know that's the play, but I'd really worry about their halves, and hence why I've got them running 13th and dropping about 6 spots from last year. Kurt Mann on the bench, Clemmer, Brodie Jones, Suaso, Sue, all the same, identical to you, mate. But yeah, Pearce, Watson, here's a great little player, could fill in anywhere. I don't think they have that. Oh, Kurt Mann, but he's not the player Watson is. But I keep going back to it, boys, Jaden Brayley. He's a massive loss for him, and I fear that by the time he gets back, it'll be too late.
Yeah, definitely Pearce there is the number 1 loss for sure. Going back to what you're saying about Tyson there, Tyson Frizzell, the man that can run a ball like that, playing with Pearce on the side, those little sneaky inside balls and stuff he does, where he throws a dummy and then cuts him back in early. When you got that, when you got the big guy running on angles, that's like Tyson Frizzell, someone like him. Suits Pearce's ball playing.
Yeah, and they just didn't go to that last year.
No, it was just, unfortunate. I think I mentioned that last year too. Yeah. Someone on the track rings a bell.
I'm sure you would have, mate. You're a smart man, so.
Someone did anyway.
One's fairly similar. Ponga at fullback, Kurt Mann, and Hymel Hunt on the wings, Gagai and Best there in the centres. The Clifford and Clune combination, the CC and Dry, we'll call that this year. Dan Saifidi at 8, Clemmer at 10. Chris Randall there in between those. At the 9, Tyson Frizzell at 11, Lockie Fitzgibbon at 12, and Mitch Barnett at 13. Suaso Sue at 14, Jake Saifidi this time at 15, Brody Jones and Anari Tuwala at 17.
Yeah, I think Bradman Best's just got to stay healthy. I think that's what he's got to focus on. He only played probably maybe a third of the games last year that he could have been available for. Is he the new Josh Dugan or the new Steve Maddai, boys?
No.
He worries me that he's so young but has so many injuries early.
Yeah, I think that'll only be a long-term effect. I just don't...
And when I say he's in the new Steve Maddai and Josh Dugan, I mean gets injured every game. Sorry, just for clarification.
Right. I thought you
Drinking
meant
Cruise on the roof or...
coming up, jamming people out of the line.
No. The injury every game.
Yeah, mate. I think you, mate. I don't want to jinx him on a touch of little wood here, but surely to God,
Where was it?
But it's having said that, it's a very good chance.
Touch a little wood every night, don't you?
Hey, yeah, you got the little part right.
All right, 13th for me. 13th for you.
11th. Look, at
11th.
this.
Oh, you switched them up.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
don't know.
And I was 13 as well.
Yeah, righty, yeah. All in all, we don't think they're going to go very well this season. As I said, if you do like them for the top 8 there, $2.40. Least amount of wins might be where my money's going. I don't think they'll run last. But, yeah, I just don't see them threatening for the top 8 this year, personally, unfortunately. All right, that wraps that up. We will be back straight after this break with 21 done, beer of the week, and plenty more. Stick around.
If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with Top Sport's Same Game Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Gamble responsibly.
All right, thanks for sticking around. We're back. We're going to jump straight into our charity bets now. For those of you that are new to the show, charity bets each and every week. Our major sponsor, Top Sport, gifts us with $50 each to bet with. All money raised goes to our 3 nominated charities. For me, it's the Royal Flying Doctors. For Ches, it's the Starlight Foundation. And Birdo is Gotcha for Life. So some very worthy charities there. We'll be receiving some cash very shortly. We're probably going to withdraw that before the footy season start, boys, and kick off for another 3 charities after that. So, great initiative by the Same Game Multi podcast and, of course, Top Sport as well. J-Rod, kick us off, mate. What do you got this week?
I'll hit you this weekend. We're going to the races, we are. So this weekend I'm going to have 2 legs, both to win. I'm going to go Animo at $1.80 to win. Now, also, that's at Sydney, going to Melbourne race 7, the Black Caviar Lightning Stakes. That's a Group 1. Now, looking through this, boys, we went through some gun horses last year, and I tell you what, there's a fucking lot of them in here. Nature Strip, Eldorado, Masked Crusader, Geetra, the Inferno, the Astrologist, Home Affairs, and Profiteer. Now, for some reason, it has something to do with connections. There is a reason why James McDonald has gotten off the best horse in the world. So Nature Strip was officially, probably about 6 weeks ago, was officially named the best horse in the world, best sprinter in the world. Now, there is a reason behind that. Now, I have a funny feeling it's a contract. So he now rides Home Affairs. Jamie Carr's on Nature Strip, and I tell you what, your boy ain't backing away from it. I'm going to stick on Nature Strip, who was beaten by Eldorado last year, but Eldorado's fresh off a spell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go Nature Strip to win, Animo to win in Sydney, $4.13. I'm going to have the 50 large straight on it.
Nice. So you're saying that jockey's like exclusive to the other trainer and owners?
So I'm trying to think off the top of my head exactly what the situation is, but basically, so Jamie Carr, in my eyes, is the best jockey in the country, except for she had a party. See, this is something you don't hear about. So you hear about the barbecue in the football, but there was about 8 or 10 jockeys at a party, and the coppers pulled up and going, what the fuck's going on in here? There's heaps of little people.
I could have said it was Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs doing the play.
There's a couple of people in there having a tea party. Anyway, no, sorry, but it turned out to be a heap of jockeys. So, and then when they were asked, did you have a party? She said, no, we didn't have a party. And it turns out they did have a party, so she was suspended for even longer for lying. So,
fair enough.
Naughty girl. But, yeah.
So $50, $4.30, did you say?
$4.13.
Nice,
so
$4.13.
I'll have the lot on it.
Jez, what do you got, mate?
Mate, jumping on the plane and going over to the Pommies this week for the darts in the Premier League. Now, they got a good little a new format for the Premier League. I quite enjoy it. instead of running it over all the weeks, then they get to the top 10. What they do now is they just have all the games weekly, winner stays on, then there's a nightly winner. Now, I've left the first games, Gerwin Price and Michael Smith. I've left that one out. I think it's just too dicey to pick there. Michael Smith's still running hot from the World Championships. Price is the favourite, but it's only a short format, so I've left that one out.
Considering Price is world number one, he's sort of in a little slump.
Yep. But I've gone the favourites with the other three. So I've gone Michael Van Gerwen to beat Joe Cullen, Johnny Clayton the Ferret to beat James Wade, and Peter Snakebite Wright to beat Gary Anderson. That's a Scottish affair, that one. Took me a little while to write that one down. I was a bit decided about Gary Anderson, but I've gone with the bookies there, and I've gone with Peter Wright. Whacking the whole 50 on, that's $3.50.
Nice. Be good if that one gets up as well. Boys, for me, I'm going to do something a little bit different this week, and I'm afraid I can't announce it on the show at the moment because the market hasn't been up. But last couple of weeks, I've been checking out the Tuesday night pan liquors out at Lismore, actually. He's been pretty good for me. So what I'm going to do with my $50 is I'm going to break it down to $5 $10 bets. And what I've been doing is I've been picking a place getter in 4 consecutive races. So what I'm going to do is the exact same thing, but I'm going to have that 5 times. So I'll go through all the pan liquors on the Tuesday night. I'll pick four places at Lismore or Dapto or wherever it might be, and I'll do that 5 times, and I'll let you know next week if any of it comes off. It's been pretty fruitful to me for the last couple of weeks, boys. So
yeah, you've actually jagged a couple too. Speaking of jag, I jagged one in the NFL. In the Super Bowl, considering I know absolutely nothing about it. I think I had the points under, whatever it was, 48.5. I picked Cooper to score a touchdown, the Rams to win by 1-14, etc. And they scored with only bloody 2 minutes left. Your boy looks at the bank at the
top sport account,
and there's a little bit of fruit in there. So hey, anything's possible.
Beautiful. All right, let's jump into 21 and done. And for those of you that listen to us, make sure you check out this brand new opening that we've got on YouTube for this 21 and done. It's fantastic work by myself, I must say. So
give yourself a wrap.
Someone's got to. All right, as per last week, all the questions today in 21 and done will be around the 4 teams that we've previewed today. So I hope you boys did a bit of research. You knew it was coming this week.
I had a funny feeling that actually.
We're going to start out with a few easy ones as per always, but we're actually dating back a little bit, so put your memory caps on, boys. Check your buzzers.
Bertman.
Ches.
All right. In which year did Manly beat the Storm 40-0 in the grand final?
Bertman, 2008.
2008 is correct. Birdo gets the first points of the day. In that game, which player scored a try in the 72nd minute in what would be his final game in the NRL?
Jeff Tuvey. No,
he's a long time retired there, man.
Ches. Was it Beaver Menzies?
It was Beaver Menzies. Well done, Steve Beaver Menzies.
Beaver.
Question 3. Who were the 2 co-captains for the Titans' first ever game against St George in round 1, 2007? I know a fan of the show, Dan, you probably know the answer to this.
Yeah, Luke Bailey was one of them.
Correct, yeah.
Second one, I'm going to lock in Preston Campbell.
Ooh. Points.
Luke Bailey, Scott Prince.
Scott Prince, Jez takes the points. Very good, Cherry, got that one. All right, audio question, boys. Had a bit of time up my sleeve on the weekend, so
audio,
doing something a little bit different here.
Jesus.
So I'm going to play a bit of audio and there'll be a question after it. So make sure you buzz in as soon as you think you know the answer. Have a listen.
It was better than layup.
Matty Johns.
Matty Johns did say it, but the question is, in which year did Matty Johns say it?
Bertman, 1998.
Oh, the audio track again, please.
It was better than layup.
97.
97 is correct. Buzzing a bit too early there, Berto. You like that? Bit of an audio question?
do.
That's good. High tech.
Takes a bit of time to do, let me tell you. It might make a return this year sometime. First multiple choice of the day. How many combined premierships have the 4 teams we previewed today won?
Oh.
Is it A, 12, B, 14, or C, 16?
Can we have the
announce again? Was it A 12, B 14, or C 16?
Bertman? I'm going to say, can I get a little clarification first? Does this include what would you say,
Not
withdrawn-
stripped premierships.
including them?
No, it doesn't include the stripped premierships.
Bertman, I'm going to say 12.
Cheers, 14.
14 is correct. Would have been 16 if they had not had two stripped in 07 and 09. So just running through, Gold Coast Titans, Big Duck Egg, haven't won any. Newcastle Knights won 2, 97 and 01. The Storm have won 4 legitimately, 99, 2012, 2017, 2020. And Manly boys have won 8. Have a listen to this, 72, 73, 76, 78, 87, 96, 08 and 11. So 14, was the total there. Ches gets the points.
Not quite as good as the Dragons.
Not quite as good, Jockman.
56 to 66.
4 plays 1. Birdo's got a bit of work to make up here. Name me 2 players from the Titans 2022 squad whose first name starts with the letter J.
Bertman. Jolliffe. Jermaine. Is it Jermaine?
Yep, Jamin, yep.
And
Just went through them. We just went through them.
AJ Brimson. No, what's his real name?
Hey.
No, what's his... No,
It's not him.
no, yeah, Ches, you can have it.
I'm trying to give you a hint.
Number 1, AJ Brimson.
Well, not your
no,
number
yours.
one.
I was going to say,
Our number one.
that's when you're doing that. That's why I said Pringles. What the...
Our number one.
And
Had a dad that played.
Kevin Proctor.
Ches, you want the points?
Yeah, give it to Ches.
Jaden Campbell.
Jaden Campbell is correct. So the other players, there's 5 all up. Jared Wallace, Jojo Fafita, and Joseph Vuna, along with Jamin Jolliffe and Jaden Campbell there. So Ches on 5, Birdo on 1. What's happened, mate?
Wow.
Ches gets those points there. What 3 other NRL teams has Kieran Foran played for other than the Manly Seagulls?
Bertman.
You get a point for each.
Bertman.
Let's make up here.
Parramatta, Bulldogs, and the Warriors.
3 points. Fantastic. He's coming back, Ches. Birdo gets those ones. What are the letters NAS an acronym for?
Little Nas X.
In the rugby league circles. NAS.
Nice. He's him and Billy Ray Cyrus, mate.
Yes, that's him.
Old Town Road. NAS.
We mentioned it today. It's a player.
Ches. Nelson, I follow Simona. I really fucking say it. What's his middle name?
Nelson. It's not his middle name.
Oh,
It's his
he's-
last name. Nelson Asafa Solomon.
That's it, a Sofa.
I'll give you the points.
I'll just call him Solomon. It's too hard, mate.
Quick question. Which Knights player is known as KP?
Bertman, Kalen Ponga.
Yes, 5 plays 6. Bertman gets those ones. How many times does the letter A appear in Manly Warringah Sea Eagles?
Ches 2.
Manly Warringah Sea Eagles.
4.
Ches 5.
5 is correct. 2?
Oh, dear.
Should minus a point for that. All
I
right.
can't spell, mate. You know that. You can't spell.
Who is the Titans' official wagering partner?
Ches.
Top Sport.
Top Sport. If you haven't already, make sure you use our code SGM, download the Top Sport app, and feel the excitement today. Fantastic. Birdo gets that one. Another multiple choice. Who was the Storm's foundation coach? Was it A, Mark Murray, B, Craig Bellamy, or C, Chris Anderson?
Ches Chris Anderson.
C, Chris Anderson is correct. Nice one. Thought I might have tricked you a bit there. All right. Let's take a breath. Who was the Titans player that bombed a try by throwing a pass over the sideline in week 1 of the finals against the Roosters
Ches.
last year?
Pat Herbert.
Patrick Herbert. 9 plays 6 at the moment. Which winger is taller? Manly's Jason Saab or Knights'
Ches.
Dominic Young?
Jason Saab.
Jason Saab? Nah.
Give you the points. Jason Saab is 1.99 metres. Dominic Young, 2 metres.
Wow.
You got a centimetre on him.
That's all.
That counts.
Just the tip. With a nickname the same of that as a common vegetable is which former Manly front rower?
Ches Spud Carroll.
Spud Carroll. 10 plays 7. Last multiple choice of the day. Which of the 4 teams 2022 squads have the least amount of hyphenated surnames? Is it A, Titans, B, Manly, C, Storm, or D, Knights?
Ches Manly.
Birdman Knights.
Knights is correct, with a grand total of 0. Each of the others have 1. So the Titans have 1. I'm going to stuff this up. Alofiana Khan Piera. Manly's is DCE, and Storm is NAS. Nelson Asafa Solomona.
The bloke from, is it Manly?
DCE.
No, not DC. Who else was there? There was
Titans.
Pierre, whoever that was. He sounds like he should be like a...
Cooking fucking
he
frogs.
should be playing football or soccer in France somewhere.
10 plays 8. What is the current name of the Knights' home stadium?
Birdman, Hunter Stadium. Oh, no, it's not.
Nah.
Who's the sponsor?
Something Energy.
Nah, it's
It's a construction company. They build homes.
I can't remember. I saw it the other day.
Birdman, McDonald Jones.
McDonald Jones Home Stadium. Very good. Birdo gets those ones as well. He's closing the gap. 10 plays 9 over here. What is its capacity? Nearest 1,000 gets the points.
Are we writing this one down or are we...
Oh, yeah, you write it down if you're going to be arseholes about it. I'm not going to give you a bracket, just whoever gets closest.
Yeah.
Ches, read out your answer.
38,000.
Read out yours.
32,000.
33,000. Birdo with the points. He's levelled it up 10 apiece.
Come on, baby.
How do you spell Pappenhausen?
Ches. Right, that's while I'm going. Otherwise I'll lose track.
Probably got your notes there, dude.
P-A-P. No, I'd write him as Paps, as you see here.
Yeah, Pat Smear. PAP is correct.
Pap. E-N.
Yep.
H.
Yep.
A-U.
Just get me from the H.
It's Husen. Like, that's how it's spelt.
You go through the whole thing. P-A-P-E-N-H.
P-A-P-E-N-H. H. No.
Two H's.
No. Like, so from the H
Yeah,
onwards.
okay,
So
right,
H
right.
onwards. H-O. H-U.
U-Z-N. It's U-Z-E-N.
U-Y-Z-E-N.
That's what I said.
No points. No points.
Why
Nil
don't
points.
just
10
call
apiece.
himself Ryan Smith or something like that.
After a 2013 loss to Souths, which Manly coach demanded an investigation?
Birdman, that was Tuvs.
Jeff Tuvey, correct. 10 plays 11. Last point is only worth 2. I think this is a record. I think this is probably the closest we've ever been. This is a write your answers down nearest 2. How many points did Andrew John score for the Knights? I'll give you a bracket. You want a bracket?
Yeah.
Between 2,000 and 2,500. For all the glory. Okay, read your answers out, Chaz.
2,316.
What?
Hey, what? That's the
Righto.
bottom. That's the bottom line. 2020.
2020. The answer is 2,176 points go to Birdo. 2 points on the board. So he actually that was in 249
What?
games. So that's an average of about 8.7 points per game. So not bad over 250 game career. So Birdo, first win of the season, mate. How do you feel?
Mate, I was robbed
struggled
last
at the
week.
start.
Oh, fuck off, mate. I was robbed last week. I was robbed the week before.
That was dead set the closest 21 done I think we've ever had. So, yeah. Again, next week, all the questions will be about the 4 teams we preview next week. So get around that, boys. Do
Hopefully
your
no
research.
spelling.
There will definitely be a spelling one, maybe 2. Fantastic. Love that segment. Let's jump right now into beer of the week, boys. Now, thanks to the Whitebull Hotel, as always, major fantastic sponsors of the show. They set the boys up with a 6-pack of beer each week, which they will do a review on and also give their stubby lid rating. So make sure you stick around for that. What do we got today?
Me and Hawkeye were looking in the sheds there yesterday.
Hawkeye and I.
Sorry, I'll correct myself.
Point off.
Yeah, I told you I can't spell. Hawkeye and myself were looking in the storage shed yesterday, trying to find something we haven't had before. Don't know how we haven't got them yet, but the James Bogues, the premium edition. So we got a little gift from Hawkeye with those. Another little special gift Hawkeye handed out today was a personal gift for Birdo.
Yeah,
he doesn't like the old...
It's a bottle opener. I always complain about pops. Why not just make them twist tops? Fuck, it's not that hard. Mr. Hawkins, that's a beautiful gift. That, but I tell you what, it's still not going to stop brewing companies from losing half a point for twist tops. But thank you, mate. Yeah, we got the Bogues. I actually remember many years ago, I mowed my cousin's lawn, and he gave me a 6-pack of this, and at the time I screwed my nose up at it. But it's actually a real good drop, this. Tasmania's finest. I'm not exactly the brightest bloke, but I tell you, there's probably not much else that's come out of Tasmania.
Better than that fucking Cascade shit, I tell you.
Ricky Ponting.
The punter, yeah. My boy Timmy Payne.
Corey Cadby.
Was he?
Yeah. Oh, no, he might have been. He might have just lived there. They'll still claim him anyway.
Give us a bit of a
Mate,
review, boys. What do we think?
For a full-strength beer, that's why I'm on the Coke for the end of the round. I've got to be the wheelman in a few minutes. 1.4 standards. They got a nice there's something about the aftertaste to them which makes them unique. They're very crisp, very flavourful. Not too heavy though. In saying that, it's the aftertaste. It's so hard to explain and describe. You have to have one yourself to try them out. These are the sort of beers I look for if you get invited to, say, a wedding or like a big birthday event or something, like one of those function type events.
Not a barbecue. The barbecue seems to come up every week.
No, this isn't really a barbecue beer for me. This is a real good special occasion beer, and I don't like drinking them too often because when you do have them every now and again, you just know how special these beers actually are. 5 out of 5 for me today, boys.
Big 5 stubby today.
Yeah,
top score.
Mate, looking at that's the finest ingredients to brew an extraordinary beer, created as quality lager, as unique as the land that inspired it. Well, I don't know if Tasmania is that good, but I tell you what, this beer is fucking delicious, and it'll be a 5 for me as well. It's beautiful.
2 5s.
Matter of fact, I might even go and get a couple more of these to sip on this afternoon.
What happened to you? Fucking Fridays, whatever it is, mini Fridays or Friday Juniors, that's what it was.
Mate, today's cheat day.
Fantastic. All right, great episode. As I said, if you haven't checked out our Part 1 season preview, check it out. It's up there now for you as well. Save you searching for it. Head on over to our website, become an SGM club member, sign up for our footy tipping comp. And also, if you do like to have a punt, head on over to Top Sport, download the app, and use our code SGM as well. Great odds, and feel the excitement there. Next week, boys, we're going to look at New Zealand Warriors, the North Queensland Cowboys, Parramatta Eels, and the Penrith Panthers. So make sure you tune in for that. Until next week, stick around. We'll see you then.